You talked in your TEDx about I think name was Mike, and
Hmm.
he said something to you that rang true to me that I don't think a lot of people are willing to stand up to you and ask you this. But trust. He didn't trust people. What is the issue behind that?
It. I told the story about Mike. That was all those stories were real people, real clients, and
Sure. Yeah.
it really blew my mind that here he was. He was 50 years old. He was in a 2-year job search. He had a great profile. He was even comfortable doing content. But when I said, let's go look at your connections so that you can start having conversations, he said, no
Hmm.
way. And I was shocked out of my mind. And when he told me he didn't trust any of those people. So obviously there's a critical problem. And
Right.
so to me, it tied in with the whole talk, or the big idea is that it's up to us to create our own LinkedIn community. It's up to us to do that by proactively connecting with people and by keeping our network strategic to us. Because if you're just connecting with people that invite you and you don't know them, you're not setting up your network, you're not creating a community or a network that's going to be powerful or strategic for you, which is what his problem was.
Well, but this trust issue, it's two-sided. I don't trust the people I'm connecting with to not spam me, to
Yeah.
not send me 1,000 sales pitches. I don't trust that. But the other side of the issue is, like you said, you have to create your community. You have to build trust. I want to dive in on that first side. When you have people spamming you, that's because you've just probably accepted a lot of invitations, invites without really looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, we all have that happen, and it's so disturbing. And that's the opposite of how I teach LinkedIn. If someone does that to you, a lot of people are going to just disconnect or unconnect from that person. So your network is up to you to create.
Okay, so now building it from the trust side of it, people building trust, me creating trust in them, building a network that's of trust. Can you walk us through? And I know it's in your book and there's some other places, but can you walk us through the process of building trust? Maybe just give us highlights.
The trust that you build, it is completely connected to your personal brand. And I do write about it in my book as LinkedIn for Personal Branding. And trust is, you establish trust by the person you are online and offline. And it works, it's not like it's just online or just offline, it's all of it. And it's not just your profile. Your profile is absolutely a piece of that to develop trust by how you communicate about what you do, but it's also your network, how you communicate, how you do messaging, how you post. It's your whole presence online and offline together that creates trust or breaks down trust.
So when someone has the presence to say, okay, I'm putting out content. I think you talked about Dan who was that way, he was just putting out a lot of content. And that created some level of trust, but then it felt like maybe he wasn't getting the leads for sales that he needed. Did I misinterpret that from Dan?
I don't recall a Dan. I did talk about a Doug in my
Doug.
in
I'm
my talk,
sorry. It
and
was
it was
only a
his.
few minutes ago. I should remember those names.
No,
Doug,
it's
yeah.
okay. So you're doing amazing that you were remembering the stories even. No, Doug was the opposite of Mike. Doug wasn't really posting content, but he had great relationships. So
Okay.
he had great relationships and he connected with those people on LinkedIn. And so when he lost a job, he was able to use LinkedIn to have career conversations. So he was, the reason I told that story is really just the opposite of
Was
Mike.
there? Yeah.
Now, you're bringing up another topic, which has to do with, I believe, content and sales. Is that where you want to go?
Yeah, for a moment.
Content is something that today's, whether it's a buyer or a hiring manager, every one of us regards content as part of how we evaluate things, right? How we determine our interest. It's not just a website or a LinkedIn profile, but we're all consuming content, and that is framing our impressions of people, of jobs, of companies, of vendors. And so the content has become really important, and LinkedIn is an amazing content platform for all of us. They keep improving the features of the content. Now, it doesn't mean just because they have all these features and you can post, doesn't mean that I don't just recommend that, okay, now you just spew it all out. No, because there's etiquette involved and there's engagement, and you need to be engaged with other people's content. It's if you went to, Glenn, if you went to an event and you just go and start handing out brochures or just start speaking without listening, like it would never work.
Exactly, exactly. It'll never work.